Hey, how's it going everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod bundle. In this episode, we are going to be taking a look at some of my personal must-have mods. You guys have been asking for an episode like that, so I figured I might as well give it a shot and show you things that I can't live without in my load order. So these may not be the most exciting mods ever, but these are things that no matter what type of game I'm creating, these mods will be there regardless because they are just that important to making my game function the way that I want it to. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in with the first mod. And the first mod is actually two mods. They kind of go hand in hand, and that's going to be Game Configuration Menu as well as Survival Configuration Menu by Zzyxzz. Let's go ahead and start with the Game Configuration Menu here. This is going to allow you to tweak the stats of the game on the fly in just about every way that you could possibly imagine. People always ask, well, what difficulty modifiers do you use? What survival tweaks are you using? What allows you to use this setting, that setting? And the answer is these two mods right here. Rather than downloading a handful of mods, these will allow me to tweak things on the fly as I need to. And now these are all things that you could tweak on your own by editing the game files, but again, this lets you do it on the fly, meaning you can test things in game. For example, one of my favorite settings is going to be in the difficulty here, where we can tweak the damage taken and the damage done by difficulty, which is super cool. And there's different multipliers for survivals as well, so that you can really have this play exactly the way that you want it to play. People are always looking for a realistic damage modifier mod. Well, you can do it right here, and you don't have to worry about other people's presets because you get to set it yourself. And there's many other settings that are available in this mod, and going through every single one would take a very long time. But just to give an example, you can change the prices of items at vendors, you can change the amount of action points that you have at your base and how they apply when you level, how much they regenerate. You can really tweak every single setting. You can even turn on and off the robot encounters from Automatron. The amount of settings here are really astounding, and they're just super incredible. And they're things that, like I said, would normally require a handful of other mods and ESPs that are all handled right here to the exact way that you want it. Now, along with GCM, like I said, there is Survival Configuration Menu as well. And this is going to have those very similar settings, but specifically towards survival-based traits. So things like Adrenaline, Carry Weight, Companion, things that are specifically tweaked with the survival difficulty can now be tweaked on the fly with this as well, including what sleeping is and how it works, as well as how you save game. This is the most useful setting here to me, this save game feature. The truth of the matter is that the sleeping to save in survival is a pretty cool feature, but it's not always the most convenient thing to use, especially when real life gets in the way. So having this hotkey here available in the survival configuration menu allows you to save whenever you need to and let you tweak the way that these settings work. So you have an autosave hotkey and a hard save hotkey. They essentially do the same thing, but it changes how it saves, meaning that when you save, it will either save as an autosave save or a hard save. An autosave will be deleted every time you make another autosave, whereas the hard save will be there permanently. You can also enable timed saves and how often they save. This is a very useful tool, especially when you're recording. Truly a must-have mod for me. Like I said, not the most exciting thing, but definitely a huge basis for having a proper game that plays exactly how you want it. Now, the next mod we're taking a look at is the Fallout 4 Photo Mode by Registrator 2000, and it's exactly what you can see on screen. Now, this is an absolutely crucial tool, especially for me, given that I do a lot of content creation, and it has a lot of other benefits as well. So, rather than taking a look at some of these panning shots, we can actually see how this thing functions in-game, and it is a very useful tool. First of all, you can apply it to a hotkey, so you can just pop this thing on the fly whenever you want. And once it's there, you have a lot of really cool settings. So as you can see, we can tweak the field of view, the roll, the depth of field, how strong that depth of field is, as well as the distance that applies. We can have it autofocus to the player, which is another really useful tool for screenshots. And then there's also other settings like being able to turn time off and on, having a time modifier so you can actually freeze and slow time. You have the option to show your player off and on again and rotate them. If, say, you got the lighting just a little bit wrong, you can turn them towards you, which is a tool I don't utilize enough, but it definitely is useful. And then you can also tweak some of the brightness and the saturation and contrast on the fly, things that normally you'd have to do in Photoshop, which again, super useful tool, and all of it is done in-game, making the content creation process an absolute breeze. This is an excellent tool for just getting really nice shots or even just screenshots, and again, allows you to do it all on the fly, and even has the option to have a hotkey that just turns off the menu so that you can get these beautiful shots, or if you're just trying to get a screenshot, taking one will actually Just disable it really quick and turn it back on so you can keep editing. Definitely a really cool feature. The only thing that isn't included here that I'd really like is an option for camera speed, but you can just do that on the fly in your menu, and then now you can move faster or slower if necessary. Very, very cool tool and absolutely essential for everything I do every day. Stepping away from content creation type mods and moving back to my personal play, we have Classic Holstered Weapon System by Shavkacagarikia. Now this mod brings back an absolutely essential feature for me personally, which is the idea of having your weapons holstered on your back or hip whenever you put them away. This is something that was already included back in past games like Fallout New Vegas, and yet for some reason just disappeared in Fallout 4, and it doesn't make any sense why. There are a ton of features like this that, again, were prevalent in the past games that just disappeared, but this one for me is just on another level. It's all personal preference, but it really is something that's so immersion breaking. The idea that your weapons just poof into thin air. It's already weird enough that you're carrying 50 weapons, but even the one that you have equipped just disappears. It's just hard to believe. And this mod fixes that. Now, whenever you put away your weapons, you get to see it on your back, and this also applies to NPCs, which is another really cool touch. Given that feature, you can now size up an enemy and exactly what they're carrying before you enter combat. You can determine if a neutral NPC is worth taking out because maybe they have some really good gear, and more importantly, it's just immersive. People would be carrying their weapons around ready to go because this is Fallout. They need to be ready for combat at any time, and who doesn't like to show off all of the really cool weapon mods you've been installing? Moving on, we have another nice little tweak that is, again, in just about every load order I use, and that is Raider Gangs Extended by Specific. This mod extends the Raider Gangs, as it implies, by adding a ton of new really cool NPCs out in the world. This includes new spawns and also renamings of existing spawns. This is going to make Raider Gangs feel unique, as the lore is there. If you start reading notes, you'll see that there's different types of Raider Gangs and other hostile enemies out there, but they just don't appear in-game. And this extends to more than just Raiders. Thinking back to games again like New Vegas, where there were different Raider Gangs like the Vipers and the Fiends, it really felt like something that was missing in this, and it seems like something that should be more prevalent. So now you can find different Raider gangs like the Rad Rat Killers, but there's also other enemies like Deranged Ghouls. These are ghouls that are slowly becoming feral, so they're still pretty humanoid, but they're hanging out with ferals and will attack you and may even have weapons, which makes ghoul combat a lot more interesting. You can also find the Militia Deserters. These are guys who used to be in the Minutemen, but whenever it fell apart, they ended up just holding out and became hostile to just about everybody, which makes it a really cool way to obtain different Minutemen armors that you have without needing to betray the Minutemen. Nice little touch there. Raider Gangs Extended is a really great mod and just adds a lot of life to the Commonwealth, and it's a mod that I get asked about a lot. Anytime you see B-roll playing in the background, you'll see Raider Gangs that you're not used to, and people always ask, where are those from? Well, it's Raider Gangs Extended, and I cannot recommend this mod enough. Up next, we have Unique Uniques by TrainWiz. Now, something that I was severely disappointed in with Fallout 4 was the unique weapons. But in New Vegas, a unique weapon was truly unique. It looked different, it functioned different, and it was worth grabbing. Well, Unique Uniques does fix that. It now applies custom attachments onto every single unique weapon to make them truly unique. No longer is it just a legendary effect slapped onto a vanilla skin, now they have their own unique visuals as well as even more unique effects. It replaced a lot of the vanilla effects with brand new ones that cannot be obtained any way else than by grabbing that unique weapon, making it truly worth going and looking for. And what's really cool about the way that TrainWiz did it is rather than just being applied to that specific weapon, once you've obtained the weapon, you now have access to that attachment. The attachment is one of a kind, however, it can be transferred from weapon to weapon. So hypothetically, if you grab two legendary laser rifles, one with a unique barrel and one with a unique stock, you could put them on the same weapon, making it even more powerful, which makes total sense given the use of Fallout 4's attachment system. This is an absolutely incredible way to spice up the variety of your game and make those unique weapons feel right. Ever since this mod first came out, I have put it in my load order and never looked back. It has never left because it is just too perfect. And it's available on PC as well as Xbox. Now, as we wrap up, this isn't one specific mod, but something that is vital to my load order is gear. Lots and lots of gear. It would be impossible for me to name any specific armor or weapon because I like variety. That is the most important part to my personal load order, is having options. Even if it's something I'm never going to use, just having it as an option for enemies to spawn with so that what I'm fighting is varied and realistic is really a plus for me. I personally am okay with redundancy. Some people may say they only need one bolt action 50 cal sniper. I say why not 3? Given that I have the options with modding, I want as many variety of weapons and armors as possible because that is what is the most realistic and immersive to me. Now that's going to vary from person to person, but again, this is my must-have. So when it comes to building my load order, I am looking for variety. So when you check out the weapons list, it is absolutely the biggest part of my load order. And with that, we bring this video to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a nice little insight on the things that I use to make my game look the way that it looks. And it's a pretty fun one. I may look into doing this again if you guys liked it. So let me know down below if you enjoyed this kind of look into my personal load order and how I run things. And maybe we'll do it again sometime. Now, while I do have a pretty extensive list of future ideas for mod bundles, I do love to hear your guys' ideas as well. So feel free to drop a comment for future episodes if you have one in mind. So yeah, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to try any of these mods, they will be listed down in the description below. And don't forget to show your appreciation to all of these mod authors as they make some incredible work. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a rating. Subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace! And really quick, I'd like to make a shout out to all of our patrons. Your donations are greatly appreciated and really help to support the channel and videos just like this one. So again, thank you.